Okay, hello everyone. So this is what we're going to discuss today, the style of writing. In the previous class, we already talked about the format of writing, how to write a topic sentence, how to write a paragraph, and how to conclude it. Now, today we're going to discuss about the major styles of writing. And when you're talking about the styles of writing, there are varieties of writing styles. But when we categorize them, they're basically more major four styles and based on the purpose of the writing. So this is called the four styles or four types of writing. Now, what are those types of writing? So those types of writing are expository, descriptive, persuasive, and narrative. Now, before we move on to further detail about these four styles of writing, let me tell you one thing is that for academic purpose, we mostly need the expository style of writing. Why and how, we're going to discuss later, but today we'll be focusing on the narrative styles of writing. And that's pretty interesting. Okay, now let's move on to have the definitions. Now, see, the expository writing style is actually for the explanation when you're trying to explain something and it's really subject oriented. That means you cannot give your own opinion into it, but you have to write with the facts and the figures. So it's really factual writing, and that's why we use it for the scientific writing. And when you talk about scientific writing, that means that includes the academic writing, whether you're writing an assignment, whether you're writing a report, or you're writing a thesis or dissertation. And also there are other things like textbook, articles, recipes, and news stories. So that's why, as I said in the very beginning, that expository writing style is what we're going to need the most. And also there are other styles we need, but not that much like the expository. Okay, the next one is descriptive, and we don't need it that much right now because this is more a kind of poetic style of writing. And most of the poetries, the novels, the journals and descriptive passages in fiction writing, they use this kind of writing. And you use your imagination, your events, your situations to explain those things. Now, persuasive, this is what we're going to need a little bit, because this is also a part of the business writing. If you want to apply for a job, if you want to go for an interview, you want to submit some kind of complaint, or you're writing for advertisement or marketing, this is the style you're going to need for business English, definitely. The reason is for persuasive writing is to convince the reader. And how are you going to convince? You're going to convince with the reasons, you're going to convince with the arguments or the justifications. And so this is what we use for opinion, editorial news, advertisements, reviews, letter of recommendation or complaint, and the cover letter. So this is what we're going to need, but this is for another lesson, not for today. Now this is our today's focus, is the narrative style to tell a story. So this kind of techniques, they have kind of characters in it. Sometimes they may have dialogues. The fact is, they have a beginning, they have a climax, and they have a resolution. So you have to have a beginning, then comes up with a conflict or a situation, and there is a solution, sometimes with the motivational lessons or moral lessons. So this is what we're going to do, and this is what we use for novels, short stories, poetry, autobiography, anecdotes, or oral histories. Now, what we're going to do today is try to write a short story. So what you have to do is open up your mind and feel free to write. Now, the interesting thing is I'm going to show you a very small video clip, and what I want you to sit as a pair or as a group and watch the video very carefully, And when you watch it, after that you will plan and you will write the story, what's happening here. Okay, and that's gonna be really interesting. So here is the video for you. Okay, so let's get to work and narrate the story. Okay, so I think all of you have finished writing the story. Now, what I want is to shuffle the answer scripts. I'm going to give you a sample that how it should start with the climax and ending. And this kind of story, what you can do at the very end of the writing, you can come up with a moral lesson. So that makes more interesting when you're saying narrating a story. Now, this sample doesn't mean that your writing should follow exactly this same events or same style of narrating the whole event. Just to give you an idea. So here is the story. Now it starts with, one day the arrogant hare was making fun of the tortoise for being too slow and challenged him to have a race. Being angry, the tortoise accepted the challenge to teach him a lesson. The hare looked at the whole thing as a joke. Now see, this is the beginning and also gives you the whole idea of what's going to happen. So then we narrate the whole event, what happened, and then it comes with a moral lesson. Now, see, as I see, all of you have come with different moral lessons. That's really, really interesting. And so this is a whole compilation of the morals. The first one was slow and steady wins the race. That's good. Pride and arrogance always lead to downfall. Never make fun of anyone's weakness. It doesn't matter who you are or what you are capable of, the result speaks for itself. And that's really interesting to see how you think. So now if you have that story ending with any of these morals, that makes this story very interesting. And that's the style of the narrative way of writing. So you have done a great job. Thank you so much.